Okay. Hey, my name is Thomas Rondon. I'm here with the U.S. Air Force, and I'm here to interview you on your position on being a maintenance officer. What's your name?
My name is Celeste Hamilton.
Hmm. How did you hear about us, Celeste Hamilton?
So I originally heard about the position as a maintenance officer, an aircraft maintenance officer, during my time as an enlisted airman in the United States Air Force. I was introduced to the idea of joining the military by a friend of mine who I worked with at Burger King. He joined the military, and I decided to speak to his recruiter just to see what my options were. I decided to enlist and was later met I met a ton of officers um, from a bunch of different career fields. There were logistics officers, there were cyber officers, intelligence officers, and during my first deployment, I met my first maintenance officer. She was a captain, and I worked alongside of her for a few months while we were supporting operations overseas. And that is where I was initially introduced to the position.
Hmm. And I want to get to know you, Celeste. So, how old are you? What are your hobbies? Where are you from?
Mhm. So I'm currently only 19. I am originally from Hagerstown, Maryland, but with me being in the military, like I said, I was enlisted. I've jumped around a bit. I lived in Pennsylvania for about 2 years with my mother. I've lived in Delaware for a little bit under a year. I've lived in Qatar for about 4 or 5 months, lived in Texas for a few months, a little bit all over here recently. In terms of hobbies, I love the beach. I love being outside. I love hiking. I love, like I said, going to the beach. I love just being in nature, being surrounded by things that are natural. I am a student. I am very dedicated to my studies, which is something that I spend a lot of time on. And I'm also very dedicated to my own fitness. I love to exercise. It is part of a requirement for my job, of course, as I am still enlisted in the Air Force, but it is also something that I enjoy. I'm a runner. I've been running since I was a sophomore in high school. I ran cross country, and now I just run recreationally.
Okay. So, tell me about your experience as a enlisted member in the Air Force.
So, I have only been enlisted for a little bit over a year, but since I've joined, it has been back to back movement. So I originally started talking to a recruiter when I was 17. I finally enlisted 2 days after my 18th birthday. And after that, it was a lot of stays at MEPS, which is the military entrance processing station. That's how all enlisted airmen and some commissioned officers join the military. Um, After that, I left for basic training straight to tech school. Had a couple months of tech school. I went to my first duty station. I was there for about 6 months, and then I got deployed. And then I have spent the last couple of months in Qatar. So it has been very rapid movement, but it has been overwhelmingly positive. I have learned so much about myself, my values, and even the way that our world functions. It has been so eye-opening as such a young person to have as many experiences I have had.
Mm. Let me ask you, why the Air Force? You could have gone to the Marines, Army, Coast Guard. Why the Air Force?
I say all the time that I should have joined the army. Just as a joke, I am really attracted to the opportunities that the Air Force is able to offer to me, with the conditions that they're able to offer to those things under. Obviously, you move and travel and can do a ton of different jobs under any branch in the military, but the Air Force is renowned for being the one with the highest quality of life. I also, being a woman joining the military, was attracted to a branch that had a higher percentage of females in it. The Air Force has the highest percentage of females out of any branch in the military, um, next followed by the Navy and the Army. Um, and overall, the Air Force had a mission statement that I was really attracted to. I love airplanes. I think airplanes are so cool. I don't understand them at all, but I think that the processes and functions and pilots and the missions and everything to do with aircraft and our air forces is amazing. I am completely enamored by it, and I wanted to be as close to that as I possibly could.
Mm. And you say you're working on. So, what degree are you gonna have?
So currently, I am working on a degree in sociology. I'm a student at Delaware State University, and if you don't know what sociology is, it is the study of society and social interaction. Super interesting career field.
Let me ask, why maintenance? You could have been a logistics officer, you could have been a services officer, you could have been a pilot. Why maintenance?
So I am blind. Can't see. My eyes are terrible. I don't have depth perception. I have like a -8 prescription, which is part of the reason why it took me so long to join as an enlisted airman. I would love to be a pilot. I think it would be so cool. Like I said, I think aircrafts are awesome. I think that it would be a dream to sit behind the screens and fly missions and exist and function as the primary mission support for our Air Force. Unfortunately, I do not qualify. And I wanted to get as close to those operations as I possibly could. So, being a maintenance officer, you directly supervise aircraft maintenance and aircraft maintenance squadrons, maintaining that or ensuring that all maintenance is done in a timely manner and making sure that missions are able to fly. That's not something that you can really do in any other career field. Obviously, being a supply troop right now, you can't fly without supply. But logistics just isn't an area that I thought would directly associate me to the operations that I wanted to be close to, as well as cyber and intelligence and services. While they're all very important career fields that need officers above them, they are not what I was looking for in terms of operational support.
Okay. You mentioned that you're enlisted, and I have to ask, why be an officer? You can make the same difference enlisted, they say. You can be enlisted, you can be an officer, but why go officer, and why you want to make that next step into your career?
So, like I said, I am a student at heart. I love education. I love learning. So, obviously, getting my degree was something that I wanted to achieve, regardless of what service style I went after, whether that was enlisted or officer. As an airman, I have already experienced, with my small amount of time in the Air Force, a lot of different kinds of officers. I have experienced officers that enlisted through RTC. I've experienced officers that have gone to the Air Force Academy and those who have commissioned through OTS. I have had nothing but positive experiences with the officers that have commissioned through OTS, ASCP, or POCR, which are all enlisted commissioning programs, one of which, ASCP, I hope to join one day. Um, I want to be that person for my airmen. I want to be that positive influence. I want to be the inspiration for people. I want people to look at me and compare me to other officers that they've met before and say, wow, I really noticed the difference within her. And I think that the experiences that I've had already have given me the tools to become a successful officer in ways that I don't think I would be satisfied as an enlisted member.
That's very good to hear. That's what we need in the Air Force. We need people, more people like you. That want to make a difference as a officer. Because being an officer requires a big role in the Air Force, because you're looking over a lot of airmen, and it's your job to look after those airmen and those um, that are helping you accomplish the mission. Um, when do you hope to be an officer? How soon do you want to be an officer?
So, in my goals now, I hope to come home from this deployment in Qatar with all the experiences and knowledge that I've gained, and submit a package for ASCP. Hopefully, I will be starting school full time while I'm still working on my degree now in August of 2024, and I will be in college full time for about 2 years. So, I hope to commission as an officer into the United States Air Force, if allowed, by the summer of 2026.
Mm. Have you been studying for your AFOQT?
Absolutely, I have. Actually, out here in Qatar, I met a officer. He was a pilot that sent me a share drive full of all of his study information for the AFOQT. I have been looking over it as much as I can, but I will be really hunkering down on studying as soon as I come home from my deployment.
Gotcha. And why that? Why that path? You could have gone. You could have done SOARS. You could have done ROTC. You could have tried to go to the academy. Why would you decide to first enlist and then become an officer?
So I did not want to go to the academy. Actually, let me backtrack a little bit. I didn't know being an officer was an option. I didn't know there was such thing as an officer. I thought you joined the military and you just figured it out from there. I didn't know that there was such thing as commissioning. And if I did have those resources before joining as an airman, I would have commissioned initially. I personally would not choose to go to the academy just because that is a huge commitment that I would struggle with. But the program that I'm hoping to go through is ASCP, which will allow me to commission through ROTC and become an officer that way.
Okay, so, well, Celeste, it was a pleasure talking to you. We'll be reviewing your package and we'll be in contact shortly.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir.
You got it, man. Have a good one.